Hi guys, for today's video we are going to extract the pieces that we are going to work with from these old denim jeans, and this was a skirt that I no longer wear. This was the trouser that got torn here and I cannot wear it anymore, so we're going to use it. And this was also a leftover from a previous project, so we're going to work with these pieces, and I think you're seeing a contrasting color kind of, and that will work well for today's tutorial. So these are the pieces that I've cut so far from the dark color kind of, and I have many of them. I'm going to give you the measurements, just wait. There are about 8 pieces at this point, and you can use even more depending on the size of the mat that you're working with. So here I have about 17 inches and 3.5 inches that I'm working with for each of the pieces that we've cut already, and I'll be folding them like this, then sew by 1/4 inch just with a straight stitch, and then I'll make sure that my stitch line will be at the top, like my seam line will be at the top after sewing, and I'll close one end, though after everything I realized that was not necessary, but anyways we can work with that for now. And I'm going to repeat the same for all these pieces. And now at the sewing machine, fold to the wrong side, then sew, just sew by I think 1/4 inch. Please remember to tack or back stitch when you're starting and also when you're ending. So just a straight stitch as you're seeing by 1/4 inch. 1/2 inch is also okay, but that can be a wastage. 1/4 inch is okay. Then cut off the excess thread. Then this is what I was telling you, make sure that that stitch, like the seam line, is in the middle. Then we close just one end of this piece, just one end. So this is what I'm doing right now, closing one end, though later on I had to cut off that end. So if you can skip this part, it is okay, but make sure that your seam line is facing one side, that is facing maybe up or down. I think you're seeing now. So my seam line is in the middle of one of the sides, you see, and then take it to the ironing table, then press it down very well so that when you're sewing it is with ease. So these are all the pieces. Remember, we have 8 pieces for this project, and we will be making some other pieces also later on, but for now these are the pieces that we have, and I'm arranging them, making sure that one of the ends, which is the open end, you know, is on this side as you see, and I'm going to sew by 1/2 inch to connect all these pieces together, making sure that they are, you know, attached together, and you have to push them close to each other like this. And also I need to get the measurement that is here as they are all together, and I got about 12 inches, but since I used some denim that was a little bit stretchy, I have to measure in different parts to see that they are everywhere it is 12 inches. So I measured, and some parts were 12 inches, some were 12.5, so I considered 12.5, but I added 1 inch as the sewing allowance. So for my next pieces I'll be cutting 13.5 inches. Hope you're getting that well. So at this point I've finished connecting all these pieces together with a straight stitch, and now these are the pieces that I was talking about that will also need. They're going to be like the vertical pieces. The other first ones were like the horizontal ones. Now we need these vertical pieces that will be going, you know, across. So these ones also, each piece is about 13.5 inches, and the same width that we used like before, 3.5 inches for each. And these ones are a little bit many. I have about 12, but I ended up I think using like 9 or 10. So I'm going to repeat the same process as we did to get the first pieces, and After everything, this is it. Make sure you iron them down, and also make sure that the seam line is facing one side and it is in the middle. You have to make sure that the seam line is in the middle of one side. So now this is what we have. Remember, these ones are connected together with the stitch line at the other end that was open. So we are going to do this method where we leave one, we remove one, leave one, remove one. Then we bring these other contrasting color pieces, you place it on top like that, close to the edge. Then we bring back our pieces like this, all these other pieces like this, to form our doormat. So you have to make sure on either ends you have like about 1 inch or half an inch like stitch seam allowance. Then still you repeat, you remove one, you leave one, you remove one, you leave one, then you place the other pieces that are of a contrasting color or any color that you have, or whatever pieces, even if they are of the same color, and then you just place them just as you're seeing me doing. So now we are placing our pieces back. Make sure they are connected together, don't leave any open spaces. Again, you remove one, you leave one, then bring back this one, then repeat the same, making sure that everything is attached to each other, like they are really not leaving any open spaces. Then we do this, and after everything, this is what we have. And this came out as kind of a small size, but if you want to make a bigger one, please do so. So I'm making sure that there are no spaces left and everything is together. This is how the back ends looks like. I think you're seeing that the seams are at the back. So we are going to go at the sewing machine and sew along the edge here like that, and even this side just a straight stitch, and also the downer side like this straight, then the other end also, so that everything is attached together, it cannot unravel. At this point, if we lift this thing up, it will unravel, but the sewing is going to help us so that they don't unravel. So at this point, I've finished the sewing, and now I can just lift it, change it to either side that I want, and it won't unravel as you're seeing. But also the downer part, I want it to be covered. So I have this Ankara piece that I'm going to use to cover the downer part. If you still have enough denim fabric, please use that. So still I'm going to repeat sewing along the edges like this, then cut off the excesses. This is where I told you that this part that I ended up closing at the beginning, I ended up cutting it off. So if you can even leave out that closing one end for all the pieces, and you just iron it flat, making sure that the seam line is in the middle of one side of the piece. So this is it done, and still we want to neaten the edges. So what I'm going to do, guys, for my piece, I'm going to measure the entire distance all around, and whatever I got, I used it to form this long piece that is 2 inches in width, and it is really long. And I had to just join some Ankara pieces. This is light Ankara light denim. It is light denim. I'm so used to working with Ankara. Sorry. So this is how I joined them diagonally. I think you know that. If you don't, you just place them as you've seen me doing, and then you join. So now I'm going to start from the opposite side, this back end. So I'll leave some allowance, then start sewing by like half an inch at the end here. Then the ends, the corners might be a little bit tricky, but they are doable. So you have to kind of fold them like that, and then go on sewing up to the other side, and then flip it to now the main side, this side that we want. And then I'll fold in kind of like a bias. This is kind of like a bias, then fold in about a 1/4 inch, then top stitch all along around the mat, and the piece will be so ready. So this is what I'm sewing. First, start with the back side, the side that will face down, and then sew all around it, then finish it anywhere that you know you are a creative, like you're a designer, so you can do it. It might be a little bit tricky, but it is doable, guys. Yes, so this is what I've done, and at the end here I just went straight, and now I'm going to cut off all the excess. So after getting your measurement, please add some excess. After getting the measurement of the entire mat all around the perimeter, please add some excess. You never know, you rather have more than enough than having less. So this is what I'm going to do now. Fold in a 1/4 inch, then you're going to run kind of a top stitch all around the corners. You just kind of make a fold like this, and then you just continue top stitching all around till the end, and the mat will be so ready. So that is what I'm going to do at a sewing machine. And afterwards, guys, this is the finished mat. So simple. You can also do it, you can make them for sale. By the way, you can make them to give to somebody this Christmas, or even as a birthday gift. You can make them as doormats, larger sizes. You can make them as table mats, like anything and everything that you want. You can style it. You can even form it into a bag. I've seen people make these into bags, guys, and that is how beautifully it all came about. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe.